15 minutes past the hour of 8 and you're still watching Get Sunrise at Sea. You are just in time for our views where we talk and have real life conversation. And this morning the conversation is actually quite heated up, and this conversation comes in view of light of something that did happen, an incident that happened at the 2022 Oscars after Chris Rock joked that he was excited to see Jada Smith. He was excited to see Jada Smith in a potential G.I. Jane squeal. Now, seemingly referencing to her shaved head. Now, while Jada simply rolled her eyes during the March 2022 awards show, the grown-up actor's quip sparked a strong reaction from her husband, and that is Will Smith, who appeared to slap Chris Rock right across the face. Now, Jada Smith has been with a condition and it's defined as the partial or complete absence of hair from the areas of the body where it normally grows. And that is the conversation that we're going to be discussing. Would you publicly come out to fight for your partner in the name of love, or would you come out to defend your partner? This particular incident did receive a lot of mixed reactions, some coming up and saying that Will Smith overreacted, or that he had bottled up this anger for such a long time and that it was uncalled for, while some people say, yes, you need to defend your woman, and I concur. Yes, you need to defend the person you love, whether in public or private. Well, joining me at the center of this conversation are the other ladies, and to my far right is Sarah, and then right next to me is Agi Uwase. Good morning, ladies, and thank you so much for joining me this morning on Our Views.
Good morning, Siobhan.
So today we are talking about an incident that happened at the Oscars 2022, and we posted this question on social media. Now, before we dive into whether you would fight for your partner in public, let's first of all watch the incident that actually happened. Lifetime. Ladies, I would want us first of all to comment on that particular incident. What do you have to make out of it?
First of all, I think it was an overreaction, and I think he did act in a manner that was very careless. That was very, we expect better from Will Smith, and I personally was very disappointed that he did that. When Chris Rock made that comment and made that reference to G.I. Jane, and G.I. Jane is a movie that was done by Demi Moore back in 1997, and she actually sparked a lot of controversy because for the first time, before the movies that she was doing, she was always acting, you know, very feminine, and when she did G.I. Jane, she was a military hero, and in the movie she shaved her head because she was in the army. So after the movie, when she was on the press tour for the movie, she actually went and she did a show with David Letterman. That was back in 1997. And when she took off her bandana, everybody was in shock. They're like, she has cut off her hair. Because back then, I think a lot of people felt that for a woman to be feminine or for a woman to be a woman, she has to have hair. Even now, it's still a bias. It's still, you know, something that everybody thinks that women who have longer hair are way more beautiful than women who have short hair. So anyway, that was what the controversy was back then in 1997, that she was a woman who cut off her hair. That was literally just it. So when Chris Rock makes the reference to Jada Pinkett Smith, who is struggling with alopecia, I feel like he did not mean it in that way, that she's struggling with alopecia, but I think he was making the reference that her having shaved her hair is a new hair. It's different because Jada Pinkett Smith has always had her hair. She says she was diagnosed with alopecia back in 2018. Okay, I'm giving context to the situation here. Bear with me. She says she was diagnosed with alopecia back in 2018, and then she recently cut her hair. She actually did it on screen. She's like, I am, tired of suffering, tired of the stigma. Let me cut my hair off. And Willow Smith, her daughter, also cut her hair again with her to show support. And other women who are fans, about 6 women, came and also cut off their long, beautiful hair to show support. So I think Chris Rock's comment or joke was taken out of context and made to be a bigger deal than it was. I don't think it came from a place of insult, because Demi Moore, when she acted in G.I. Jane, she's a hero. Do you understand? She's embodying a role that she has never done before. She's a military hero. It was not about anything to do with her sexuality or that the fact that she's struggling with alopecia. However, Will Smith, I think, was very hypocritical in that moment because he laughed at the joke. We saw him laugh. And then when she rolled her eyes, he's now prompted to go and just react irrationally. You get? That didn't make any sense for me. It was very disappointing. And later in his acceptance speech for the Oscars, he did say that Denzel Washington pulled him aside and told him, you have to be very careful now, because at your highest moment is when the devil will appear. And now that slap has taken away from his moment of winning an Oscar, his first Oscar. Do you understand what I mean? So he acted very irrationally, very recklessly, and I am absolutely unimpressed and very disappointed in him.
Okay, so Anke, what do you have to say about this particular
On this particular incident? Now, I remember off air, we were talking about this situation.
She's
the thing.
not giving information.
But honestly, and I'll still maintain, I maintain my stand even with the different people that I have talked to about this particular incident. Now, whereas I do not condone
violence.
Yes, violence. No, not violence. Condone what Chris Rock said. It came off as insensitive. Well, on Jada's part, considering she's going through the alopecia, and people battle so many emotions. And maybe Will Smith has actually watched the wife, cry about it, because we do not get to see those things except for what they put out there.
Why did
but
he
for
laugh?
But for him to come on stage and slap Chris Rock was just so outrageous. There is no excuse for it. There is no excuse for that behavior, whether it's because Jada is going through something. This is a stand-up comedian. Stand-up comedians say things every other day. We pay to watch them. They talk, yes, they say a lot of annoying things. And then again, a person of Will Smith, the person of Will Smith, if that is the right word, he should have been more composed. He acted out of emotion. Here's the thing. That is the Oscars. It's not, I've said this and I'll say it again. There could have been a better way that he could have handled this. He laughed it off before. He should have, just let it go. And then after the show, go behind the scenes. If you want to tackle it out, then do it, but not on the stage at the Oscars. He lost it. He lost it. He got a very prestigious award as the best actor, but he lost it. He lost everything there. Everyone is coming out. Well, there's people who are supporting him, and there's those that are condemning him. But if we are to look at it from the rational point of view, he actually did something really terrible.
He did.
Well, as we still move on with the conversation, I mean, this particular incident did ruffle a few feathers, like Uwase Age has pointed out. Some people took it lightly, while other people were completely did not feel like it was the right thing to do. But however, the question still stays, and actually behind, after the Oscars, Tiffany Hudson went behind the cameras, and she did mention, and she was interviewed, and she highlighted that back in the days when that particular movie was released, some people felt it was an insult to women's sexuality. So Chris Rock making a reference to it sort of meant that he was not only even making fun of the condition that Jada Smith was going through, but also even insulting her sexuality. However, looking at the aspect of whether or not the comment was taken out of context, and I mean, I might not be an expert, but let's also call out on comedians. I think there is, as so far as we can go, you cannot be making a comical statement out of someone's condition. And a number of people did come out to actually respond to this on Twitter, and I'll read these few responses out. Our first tweet comes in from at Sammy Skies, and he says, Will Smith was laughing at Chris Rock's joke at first until he saw Jada roll her eyes. Then he thought, what would Tupac do? Well, our next tweet comes in from at Sarah, and she's replying to at Sammy Skies, and she says, I am on Will's side. I have had alopecia for 15 years, and when I lost all my hair, I was devastated. It broke me as a woman and also affected my family. When someone jokes about it, it's heartbreaking and devastating. It lowers your self-esteem and makes you feel worthless. Our next comment comes in from Steve Kalman, and he says, seriously, like there are other things you can talk about, but not the health condition. You do not know what they have been through, or you do not know what they have been through. That was an expensive joke.
Again, I feel like it was taken out of context and everybody is now just nitpicking. Back again, let me again make a reference back in 1997 when Demi Moore did her interview with David Letterman. He touched her head and said that you look like a dude I went to high school with. That was in poor taste and that was very disrespectful. But then again, let's talk about the movie G.I. Jane. Have you watched the movie? She is punching in people, man. She's a hero in this movie. So I think he made reference because she looked like that, not because she has alopecia. You see, this is the thing. When you have an insecurity, for instance, you're going to nitpick at what some people say about you or how you look. But I don't think Chris Rock meant to come for her and the fact that she has alopecia. I mean, these are people who have known each other for a very long time.
And yet
they're friends.
We are having this conversation.
But this is the thing, because everybody is taking it out of context. And Will Smith having to lash out like that is even making, why even we talking about it? He had a moment. He had a moment to respect himself and address that issue like a true gentleman would. That was uncalled for. Is it necessary sometimes to slap someone across the face? Absolutely. Sometimes. But that moment right there, and for that joke, it was not necessary. He should have waited until his moment when he was receiving his Oscar and say that, you know what, it is in bad taste for you to make comments like this. I do not appreciate it. And for me, is that he should have kept the same energy he had when he was laughing. Do you get me? So keep that same energy, because in his acceptance speech, he said this in his speech, and I quote, as a public figure, some people think it is okay for you to smile when they say disrespectful things about you. He also stated that his role, because he won Best Actor for the movie King Richard, where he plays Venus and Serena Williams' father. He plays the father. So he said as he did that role, he felt like a protector. He felt like it was his calling to protect and serve the people that he loves. I understand that. I go for that. In that moment, he went on also to apologize to the Academy for what it is that he did. Now you see, Chris Rock said he's not going to file, press charges against him. However, in the state of California, the state can press charges against you for assault. And also another thing that why I'm also very upset is that the Academy, the Oscar Academy, has not come out to address the issue, because an assault happened. So regardless of what we felt, a crime was committed. It is not allowed to hit anybody.
Okay. Regardless
of the situation, you're not allowed to hit somebody. And they haven't done anything about it. And this is a huge worldwide platform. So basically with their silence, they're saying, we condone this Kavuyo.
To add a little bit.
Away, ladies, I think we need to get back to now what we're discussing. Away from the whole Will Smith incident, the question now would be, would you fight for the one that you love?
What do you mean? Like, do what Will Smith is doing?
I feel like people need to understand that there's more ways that you can solve issues or matters amicably than to fight. Why not sit down and talk about it? If, let's say, okay, maybe a scenario where my boyfriend has found me out with another guy, and out of imagination also, he thinks that maybe I'm now seeing this person, and you just out of the blue beat the other person. You've not yet even understood who this person is, but out of emotion, you are acting like that. That's already a bad sign. Well, for me, honestly, I do not care whether it's about how much you love me, how much you care about me or care for me. If you come out and fight somebody in public in my presence, that just shows you're a violent person.
Really?
Yes,
even if
you
it's
are
doing
a
it
violent
to protect
person.
you.
Well, maybe if it's protecting, but then again, it depends on what is the situation at hand for you to actually. Maybe if I'm being assaulted, but if I am seated right here and somebody is insulting me over there, maybe, and you just decide to come up and fight them, for me that is not. It doesn't work for me at all. It can be talked out. It can be, but no, that's a violent person. Again, let me take you back to the issue with Will Smith, brother Will Smith. He has a history of violence. He has assaulted
his
a
first
reporter.
wife.
Yeah,
also his first wife.
And also
did
a reporter
bad.
on the red carpet. He has assaulted a certain lady that they acted with in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So he has that history of violence. So this is like the final straw. This is like the final straw of him not having to contain his emotions. He has a buildup of so many emotions that have led him to this particular incident. But then again, violence is never the solution. He also said it when he was apologizing.
Yeah.
He said, violence has no place in this world. In the world of kindness and love, there are better ways that you can solve the matter than coming out to punch somebody in the face. No, very distasteful. Not for me, honestly. I would never fight for anyone in public. And I hope there's no one who will come out there to fight for me in public.
We shall look for those videos. How about you, Sarah? Is it ever okay to fight for the one that you love?
I feel there are instances where it is absolutely necessary. If you're put in a position where you have to protect yourself or protect the one that you love, absolutely. I think in the case of self-defense, absolutely. But where you are the instigator, I do not subscribe to, because you see, at the end of the day, there are laws that govern every society, every country, every state, whatever the case may be. So even when you react when somebody angers you, you have to respond in a way that is within the confines of the law, because if you don't get punched in the face or beaten up, then you may end up behind bars. And is that what you're trying to go for? And I do understand that for some men, they feel like it is their God-given responsibility to have to fight for the honor of their woman. Or some women also feel the same. It is my right to, or it's my responsibility to have to fight for the honor of my loved one, my husband, or whatever the case may be. And I understand that, but there are repercussions and consequences to that. And I do understand also that there are some times where you can be quick to anger because somebody has been nudging and pushing at you and pushing at you and pushing at you. For Will Smith's case, because for the past year, ever since his wife came out with the whole entanglement situation, he has been the punchline for a lot of jokes. Everybody has been clowning him, from his friends in the media to social media to everyone has just made him a joke. So I think perhaps he may have reached his breaking point. And also how he handled the situation was just in distaste.
So how best then would one handle a situation where you feel that your partner has been insulted or their honor has been disregarded? How then would such a situation be handled? Because I mean, you've just mentioned it yourself, and for very many women, me amongst them, is if someone insulted me in public, or if someone walked up to me and probably hit me or did something and I was with my man, I would definitely expect him to defend me. So how else would that be handled?
How about you walk away from the situation? How about you walk away?
Yes.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. By the way, there are a lot of crazy people out there. And you don't know how far somebody can go. Do you understand what I mean? And even if it is not a case of them reacting right there in public, what if they wait for you in a dark alley or on your way home and they shoot you or pour acid on you? There are a lot of crazies out there, by the way. So me, I'm the type of citizen. I'm the type of citizen who makes it difficult to be a target. So when I get into a confrontation, my first instinct is flight. I never choose violence because I don't want to have to get myself into a situation where it has now escalated. Remember the gentleman, Johnny, who got into an altercation at Governor?
Yes.
Because another man harassed his wife and now he lost his life. Do you understand? And now he's in, and the other guy who killed him accidentally, manslaughter, is now in jail. Look at what happened to Mosaic Radio. Do you get me? Terrible. So people look at what happened to Jose Chameleon's younger brother. AK-47. You see, it is altercations like that just escalate into something else. Somebody steps on your shoe and you feel you have to react. Somebody makes a snarky, disrespectful comment and you feel like the way that I can react is by punching this person in the face. I know sometimes we can get riled up with our emotions and sometimes we can be on the brink of snapping and you just want to somebody, but you don't know how crazy the other person is.
This is the one thing, and I want to point out. You talked about the fact that you could be walking and someone steps on your toe and you react, but I feel, or I know, and looking even at Will Smith's reaction, I know that sometimes people react a certain way because of underlying issues. Someone has probably taken in so much for so long, and when they react to the smallest, the bigger things, they have not been reacting, but to the smallest thing will just spark them. And this is what I keep telling people, even in a relationship, because this morning we are looking at defending or fighting for the one that you love, to have conversations with your partner. Don't allow things to pile up, because the more they pile up, when you have altercations, and then you cannot take back what you've said, you cannot take back what you've done, you're being walked out on. Agi, you mentioned something that you would not want someone to fight for you. So if your partner fought for you in public, would that be a red flag? Or is that a red flag that women and men should look out for in a relationship?
It's, like I said, it's already a red flag for me because the other person is violent. But it depends on the situation. If I am being assaulted, physically assaulted. Being
attacked,
yes, being attacked, physically assaulted. There, I can understand that someone is trying to defend me. But if it's words, just talking, someone is, verbally assaulting me or saying very bad words about me, and then my partner comes off to fight them, that is a violent person. So it's in them.
Would you prefer verbal assault or physical assault? Because there are people who verbally assault you, and it sounds like it's a physical one.
Assault is assault. What I would expect a gentleman to do is literally say, you know what, let's walk away, let's move, leave the situation at the end. Like she said, it can turn into a very bad situation. If Chris Rock yesterday was not a composed man in that situation, because I was reading through what some of the celebrities were saying, and Fabulous said Chris Rock is a gentleman and a very professional man, because if it were him, in the event that it was him, he doesn't know what could have happened. Someone else could have, slapped him back, and we would have seen a fight at the Oscars stage. It was going to be a very terrible thing. So sometimes you just have to walk away from such situations, especially when it comes to physical assault. If you slap me, I will walk away. And I'm not saying come and slap me, but that is what I would do.
Maybe we should.
Honestly, I feel like violence or assault has no place in this world. And that is my point of view. And in such situations, always walk away. And maybe you can come back and talk about it later when everything has calmed down. But look at Will Smith. He has so much to regret. He got the Oscar,
yes,
but he will be banned from the next Academy Awards. He won't be nominated.
As he should.
Yes, and all the other repercussions, all the other repercussions that are going to come as a result of this. When you act in the moment, when you act out of emotion, definitely when everything has calmed down and you sit back and everything now hits you back and you're like, you know what, I could have done better. I could have reacted better. I didn't see Jada, come and applaud his man for fighting for her. I didn't even see a smile on her face.
Well,
she just was sitting.
You were not there behind the scenes. You do not know.
But we saw the footage. We saw the footage. She didn't look very impressed whatsoever. So sometimes you could actually fight for someone in a bid to impress them. And
for them, they're like, what is told our auntie.
For a woman like Jada,
like, sit down. What are you doing?
What do you women want? Do you want to be protected? Do you want empowerment? Okay, should we live here and they walk all over you? Because when you're protecting until you come out to say that now you're being violent. When we don't protect
All-
you, then you come out to say we are not man enough.
Sometimes you have
What
to
I
not
am
be the hero.
saying is that if you
But-
have a sensible woman by your side, she's going to expect you to act sensibly. Do you understand what I mean? There are instances, like I have said, where it is not justified, but it is necessary to slap some sense into someone.
So when is
you
it
understand?
necessary?
If somebody is coming to attack you, if it's in a moment of self-defense, absolutely. But if somebody is making a comment or a joke that they misinterpreted, and didn't necessarily intend to hurt your feelings, then why do you react like that? And Will Smith is a comedian as well. See, that is what they do. That is what comedians do for a living. They laugh at people's pain. They laugh at their
And it
pain.
doesn't matter how
You
painful,
get?
they always do.
Everybody is fair game. If comedians can make jokes about Barack Obama when he's the whole president and he laughs, when they make comments about Trump and he laughs, when they make comments about Joe Biden and he laughs, the only person who doesn't laugh is our president, so don't do it.
So maybe
This is a thing.
it's high time
You
we have
have-
a conversation about how far comedians should go, because then that is becoming an issue.
Listen, if comedians have to censor what they say about
That is-
people or different instances or situations in society, then comedy is going to die. Dave Chappelle, people tried to cancel him last year. He was cancelled because he made comments about the LGBT community. Do you understand what I mean? So everybody is having this sensitive antenna, and sometimes it is not that serious. Do you understand what I mean? It is really not that serious, because when you react out from a place of where you feel you're being attacked because you have insecurities, then now you're going to do things that you regret. Case in point, Will Smith. Case in point, Johnny, who lost his life, R.I.P. Case in point, AK-47. Case in point, Mose Radio. Do you understand? As in, do you people? It's sometimes it is good to act a fool. Sometimes that is what your human instincts should be telling you to do. Act a fool. Or they have said, I look like a dude. Okay.
But do I? But don't you?
Listen, take your problems to a therapist, okay? As opposed to reacting and putting yourself in a situation that is just going to just escalate the situation and become even worse.
Okay. So we did post this question on our social media platform, and we asked your views. Would you physically fight for your partner as a proof of love? And people responded, and our first response comes in from @Essential Worker, and this is what they had to say. It is not a proof of love, but we must protect our ladies, stroke women at all costs. I can't let anyone make unnecessary jokes about my wife and he or she walks away just like that. Essential Worker Munyivu. Our next tweet comes in from @Adams Mayambala, and this is what he had to say. The word should be wife, but partner. You might get up like 10, go slap one poor man on the stage. If it's a loyal wife, oh yes. Then finally we have Bibu Zagolola, and he says this was a joke too. Well, I think we should be very careful with the kind of jokes that we make, whether taken out of context, whether he did not mean it in that way. Of course, in regard to the situation of Will Smith, at the end of the day, we need to be very sensitive with the kind of things that we say, because you never know what someone is dealing with. But again, in regard to would you fight for your partner because you love them? For me, please come and fight for me. I want to be fought for. So ladies, as we wind up this conversation, your last remark, Sarah.
Me, I'm just saying, as in, next time you react, please react within the confines of the law. Because you may either find yourself 6 feet under or behind bars. Because again, there are crazy people out there. They're like really crazy people out there. So if you're in a position where you can walk away from the situation, I kindly and highly suggest that you do. I'm not a coward. I'm just a very cautious person. Okay.
Okay. And how about you, Aggie?
Well, for me, honestly, it's just that I only want to tell people that never act in the heat of the moment. Always sit back. The moment you feel like you want to react, especially in such a situation that is so tensed up, sit back. Because odds are, that you will make a mistake that you will probably live to regret for the rest of your life. We shall see what will happen, how everything will unfold in the Will Smith situation. It's just that everything is just starting to unfold, because we didn't know about, well, some people didn't know about his history with violence, but now we know. It's all in the light. The things that were buried back in the day are all in the light, and all that will impact his career and his life tremendously. So do not act in the heat of the moment.
Exactly. And lastly, I want to give another example. Remember the Kanyamunyu case? It was very high profile. You see, acting just irrationally like that, and then now a life is lost and another life is being wasted, and many other lives around these people have been absolutely destroyed. So yes, I know we want to fight for the honor of our partners, our marriage spouses and whatnot, but sometimes, many times actually, it is not called for. If you're put in a situation of self-defense, absolutely I agree, because you can plead self-defense in court.
Yes.
But you cannot plead, he annoyed me, so I also
reacted.
Now here we are, and here you are, you know, being inconvenienced because you acted irrationally.
Well, at the end of the day, mine will definitely be whether love, not love, friend, spouse, what bit, I beg your pardon, whichever it might be. Let's be very careful with the way we react to situations. But again, for the people that constantly want to react, to defend themselves, I think the big question would be, for how long, or what are you battling with inside you? You see, it is the small things that keep piling up, and when just a small pin hits the bubble, and it's a whole outrageous thing. Let's learn to offload the pain and anger that we have within ourselves. It could actually promote and better healthy love relationships. But also, like Age has mentioned and like Sarah has re-echoed, it is very important that you do not, or you desist from acting in the heat of the moment. Now for me, heat of the moment is where I react the most part. That is a toxic trait I am definitely going to be working on. And that wraps up the conversation that we had for you this morning on Our Views. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea.
Well, I hope you had a lovely time with us right here on Sunrise at Sea. Well, unfortunately, the show has come to an end, but parting shots, I hope that you have taken the advice from the ladies. Please don't be quick to anger. You know, pray about it. And if you have any underlying issues, insecurities, please share those issues with your therapist, okay? Because what doesn't break you just makes you stronger. So address your demons so that you do not project on other people. And those are parting shots that I leave with you right here. I can see Shivona from the corner of my eye just shushing me. Just shush. Well, the conversation continues on our social media, and if you want to connect with us, please connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you're just catching the show right now, don't despair. You can actually watch it again from the beginning on our YouTube channel, and that's at CTV Uganda. We stream every day on our Facebook page at CTV Uganda and on our website. Until tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. This is Sunrise at Sea. For me and the ladies, follow your SOPs. Be kind. There's no place for violence in this world. And yeah, see you tomorrow.